Cleveland. I'm Jordan McConnell, and I am a high school art teacher at Shaker Heights High School. Here we are, a decade in the making. We met in high school, we met in the art room, and here we are, 10 years later, in a different art room, my art room, so isn't that quite fun?
Wow.
We've made it, we're adults now.
Oh man, make it stop.
Get me out of here.
So what made you want to be an art teacher?
Becoming an art teacher, I think you remember our art teacher, Miss Steimer. Shout out to Callie, go Callie. She was kind of a really big inspiration for me for the way that she allowed me to express myself in high school.
Where was the first place you started teaching before here?
Before I came to Shaker Heights, I taught part-time at a daycare on campus, on Kent campus. It was just me with about 10 or 12 preschoolers. It wasn't really art focused, but it was a really great way to learn how to do things such as classroom management and dealing with behaviors and being able to get into the routine of communicating with parents. So it was a really awesome place to be. And I did that for, I think, 2 years. So it was pretty cool. So I teach mostly freshmen here at the high school. I have about 120 freshmen. I run the introductory art stuff here. And also giving them a place for an outlet. I feel like high school always needs an outlet. A lot of energy, a lot of emotions, a lot of passion, a lot of drama.
Oh, don't you remember?
Unfortunately. I remember sobbing in art class. I remember losing my mind in art class. Shout out to Callie again for keeping my mental stability in check, because I certainly wasn't.
What has your experience been like teaching after COVID?
Yeah, so teaching after COVID, there was a lot of heavy mask wearing and sanitizing everything all the time. Last year was my first year here. And it was the first time that these students had been in a school year that was all 100% in person, live at school, no longer on Zoom. And it's just, I think, getting back into the rhythm of things of, yes, you have to go to class on time, and yes, you need to reach out if you have any issues or turning in work, or you can't cheat on this stuff. I feel like a lot of online schooling is, you could just search it up in the next tab. I mean, who's gonna stop you, right? So, I mean, everyone's trying to get back into the routine of being a person.
What would you say is your favorite part about teaching?
Seeing kids becoming much more, my students especially, become so involved with their art. They become so passionate about something. And I feel up to this point, there might have been projects that they had to do, but there's nothing where I feel like they've had to just put their whole self into to get something done. So that's really rewarding, is seeing them grow up throughout the year. That's the best part of working with freshmen. Least favorite part. Gosh, you know what? It's the drama. Yes, I love sitting there. I feel like Dr. Phil, because once it blows up, it doesn't stop blowing up. It's like a chain reaction.
Ooh, has your life at all been affected by TikTok trends?
I do get many TikTok videos in here. I mean, great lighting. I can't complain. Yeah. They cannot dance in my class. No gyrating, as I would say.
Is there anything you think people should know to pursue teaching? Patience,
right? But I feel like that's a given. I feel like you don't have to have your life together, because I certainly didn't have my life together whenever I started becoming a teacher, but you do need to have, I think, the constitution and the endurance to just get through it. I mean, most of the time I work 10-hour days. But you have to care a lot, and especially art teaching, okay, you need to know how to do art. Art ed majors out there, you need to know how to make art.
How are you liking, as opposed to where we grew up, how are you liking living in Cleveland?
So, I mean, living in Cleveland is so much better. I mean, so I have my boyfriend, hi Jacob, shout out to Jacob, who builds schools actually, he's really cool. Aww. So, right, he builds the schools, I just teach in them. And being a gay teacher too, I think is a really contentious subject these days in America.
Yeah, how's that been?
Well, I mean, if I was in Florida, I'd be fired right now. Because I do tell the students that I have a boyfriend, because I don't even think they need to ask. They just gotta listen to me for more than 10 seconds and they'll connect dots, right? I can say that. Shout out to the kids who called me a slur. I know who you are. Seriously though, being a gay teacher in Cleveland, it's weird because Ohio is a battleground state. So I mean, I feel like I could always be accused of indoctrinating children, even though we don't actually touch on any sort of like feminist or gender studies, sexuality studies type things here. At least in my art class, we don't. I just tell them I'm gay. I come to the school events sometimes with Jacob, and also the kids don't care. But then you have the other spectrum where there are people who are like crazy, like Portlandia type energy.
Yeah.
But that's very few and far between. And if you're a parent out there who's like, the gays are indoctrinating my children, they're pushing the gay agenda. The gay agenda is that they just know that I'm gay and that I'm a normal person. Not in Ohio, but in other states, you have to declare if a child comes out to you, which like puts you in a really weird spot. If you go back to where we're from, like there's no gay community. The gay hierarchy was just based on like what grade level you were, because there was at least one gay person in every grade level. I just really remember like it was like my time for senior year, and I like
So you're on the top.
I had the crown. I was the supreme at our small little high school.
McLaughlin. Skylar.
So real. Shout out to Miss McLaughlin. It's terrible. You're like, oh God, what comes after this? And now here we are, and we're like, oh God, what comes after this?
Yes.
To have all freshman classes.
Because they're less scary.
Well, no, they're still scary here.
Yeah, you guys have so many more resources than we had in school. This is
And the craziest part is I don't think the kids realize that. Because I tried to tell them, I'm like, hey, you know, we didn't have water in high school for like a week.
Remember the asbestos on the ceiling or whatever?
You know, which building, right? This is a call out. I remember going to however many lectures in class and the teachers wearing mittens, hats, winter jackets.
I would bring a blanket.
People would wear blankets. They had to do a blanket ban. I remember that. Wait, okay, do you remember our one teacher, whom I will not name, ended up dating the Paul brothers' dad? Just about to make that bang.
Wait, tell me and I'll cut it out.
Rob.
How long did they date for?
Nobody knows. Someone has to do it, right? I vividly remember, unfortunately, that two people did on a bus. Not my bus, but they did. I feel like there was a really funny piece of tea I was supposed to tell you. There's this dude